Hello, welcome to this video, lesson 18 of Silva, Pali to English exercises. Number 1. Sache sabhayang kanyayo katayum ahampi katesami. Sache, if kanyayo is the plural, one of the two plural forms of kanya, girl. The plural of that is either kanya or kanyayo. So if the kanyayo, if the girls katayum, optative plural there, if the girls speak sabhayam at the assembly, ahampi katesami. Ahampi, I too, katesami, will speak. Sache sabhayam kanyayo katayum, ahampi katesami. Number 2. Darikayo pupani uchinitva salayam nisiditva malayo karingsu. Darikayo is another word for girls. Note that if a word ends in the masculine form in akka, this is common throughout, I think almost every word in the language it applies to, the same in Sanskrit. Akka, masculine. For the feminine, which ends in an a, the a changes to an I. So ika. This is very common. So daraka, darika. And here we see it as darikayo, the girls. So darikayo pupanyo chinitva salayam nisiditva malayo karingsu. So the girls karingsu, made. Malayo, a mala, a garland. Malayo, they made garlands. Pupani uchinitva, so uchinati, to pluck or to gather. Pupani uchinitva, having plucked flowers. Salayam nisiditva, having sat in the hall. Malayo karingsu. And see here that unlike the masculine nominative and accusative plural are different, ending in respectively a and e. We say daraka, nominative, darake, accusative. The nominative and the accusative are the same for the feminine plural. It's the same in Sanskrit, actually, for the nouns in long a. So the girls picked flowers, sat down in the hall, and made garlands, is how we'd put it in English mostly. Pali as usual, the girls, having picked flowers, having sat down in the hall, made garlands. Vanita rukassa sakhayo chintitva akadhi. Vanita is a woman. Chinditva, from chid, chindati, to chinditva, having cut. Sakhayo, from sakha, Sanskrit shaka. So sakhayo, branches, rukasa, akadhi, pulled or dragged. Vanita rukasa sakhayo chinditva akadhi. Number 4. Bhariya manjusasu vatanicha suvarnancha tapesi. This tapesi, often used to put or to keep or to store, is from the root stha. In Sanskrit, you can make a causative sthapayati, literally to cause to stand, literally. It often means just to put, to keep something. somewhere. Just remember, to stand often means not to be standing up as opposed to sitting or lying down. Often means just to remain in a place. So if you cause something to remain somewhere, you keep it in a box, which is how it's correctly used here. So Bharya, the wife, tapesi, so I should say the Sanskrit sthapayati becomes in Pali tapeti, short a. Sthapayati Sanskrit, tapeti Pali. Aorist tapesi, she kept. So Bharya, the woman, tapesi kept, vatanicha suvarnancha, clothes and gold, manjusasu, manjusa a box, manjusasu in boxes. Bharya, manjusasu, vatanicha suvarnancha tapesi. Number 5. Darika pasadasa chayayam nisiditva valukaya hilingsu. 5. Kilimsu. In Sanskrit, play, the noun play is krida. In Pali, that by regular phonetic mutation becomes, gila, with a kr to ka, as you all know, and as we so often see this, the intervocalic d, the retroflex d, appearing between two vowels, mostly changes to a retroflex l, so gila, and it can make then kilati. Sorry, it's not kila makes kilati, the root keel, creed, kilati, and the noun kila. So kilimsu, they played. You play with something in the instrumental valuka, so valukaya, kilimsu, they played with the sand. So the darika, the girls, nisiditva, having sat down, chayayam, in the shadow, pasadasa, of the palace, played with sand. Daraka pasadasa chayayam, so chayayam nisiditva valukaya kilimsu. Number 6. Bharyaya katam sutva pasiditva kasako sapuriso abhavi. So this farmer, who clearly had not been a good man before hearing his wife talk, became a good man after he had heard her. So Kasako, the farmer, sapuriso abhavi, here present bhavati, aorist abhavi. You'll notice there are many aorists that do not begin with an a, and quite a few that do. There are fairly complex rules for determining which aorists have an a in front of them. Rather more simply, in Sanskrit, they all do. In Pali, it's sometimes lost. One rule might be useful for you to learn now is that if the where you have got a root with ending in a vowel, then, as in bhu, then it'll almost always have the a as in the aorist. So bhavati abhavi, he was or he became. Sapuriso abhavi. So bharyaya katam sutva, having heard the speech of the wife, pasiditva, and being satisfied, being pleased with it, he became a good man. This word katam, you'll see it used as an adverb meaning how, same in Sanskrit, katam. In this sentence, it's the accusative of the feminine noun kata, meaning speech. So in Sanskrit it would be the kata accusative katam, the long a, but Pali can't have a long arm, so it becomes katam. So there's a potential ambiguity there, which will normally be resolved by the context. In Sanskrit, there is no ambiguity because it can retain the long arm. That's the a with the anusvara subdotted m. So having heard the speech of the wife, his wife, having heard his wife talking, the farmer became a good man. Bhariyaya katam sutva pasiditva kassako sapuriso abhavi. Number 7. Devatayo punyani karonte dhammena jivante manuse rakhantu. So Devatayo, we have Deva, a god, a masculine noun. We also have Devata. Now originally Devata, it looks like an abstract noun, as if it means godhead, the status of being a god. But very often it just came to mean a god. And in fact, in modern Hindi, the word devata means a god rather than abstract godhead. And already it had come to have that meaning in Pali. So, devatayo rakhantu. Rakhanti, they protect. Rakhantu, imperative, may they protect. Sorry. Devatayo rakhantu, may the gods protect, let the gods protect. Manuse, people. Which people? Punyani karonte, present participle. The good doing, the good acts doing. And the dhammena jivante, by the dhamma living people. So may the gods protect people who do meritorious acts and who live by the dhamma. Pali, as we see, says the gods, good deeds doing, by the dhamma living people may they protect. Devatayo punyani karonte dhammena jivante manuse rakhantu. Number 8. Pabbatasmin guhasu vasanta siha valukaya kirante mige mare sum. So the subject of the sentence is the siha, the lions. Maresum, marete, killed, put to death. Cognate the English word, murder. Maresum, the lions killed. What? The mige, accusative plural of this masculine miga. Mige maresum, they killed the deer. The deer who were doing what? Valukaya tilante. Present participle qualifying the noun mige. The with the sand playing deer. Or on the sand, or in the sand. Here actually, yeah, most likely to be a locative rather than children playing with the sand. Valukai. See, in the locative, if you look at the table on page 18, the paradigm for the feminine nouns in locative can be vanitaya or vanitayam. Note that in Sanskrit, it would be vanitayam, long long arm, not vanitaya, but so vanitayam would be the only correct form for the locative in Sanskrit. In Pali, you would have either. So the lions, vasanta, living, present participle, masculine plural to agree with siha. Guhasu, guha is a cave, cognate with our English word cave actually. The lions living in caves, pabbatasmin, on the mountain or in the mountains, a locative, killed the deer who were playing on the sands. Pabbatasmin guhasu vasanta siha valukaya kilante mige maresum. Number 9. Amma darikaya kujitva hatena pahari. So harati, to take. praharati, Pali paharati, means actually to strike. So hatena pahari, struck with the hand. So amma, the mother. Darikaya kujitva, as having become angry, is kujitva, kujati, from Sanskrit krud, krudhyati, to get angry, kujitva, having become angry, with the daughter. So the mother got angry with her daughter and hit her with her hand. Amma darikaya kujitva hatena pahari. So in English we'd have to say she hit her with her hand, but in Pali you can just say hatena pahari, with the hand hit, because it's obvious whose hand and who is being hit, so you don't need to express these. You don't need to make them explicit if it's obvious. Number 10. Vanitayo sadhaya bhattam pachitva viharam netva samananam pujesum. So vanitayo, the women. Here again we have this verb pujesum. It's actually a verb derived from the noun puja, the feminine noun puja, and pujeti, to pay homage to or worship or to honor, also used in the sense we've had before as making an offering. So you honor the accusative of a person with the instrumental of the thing with which you're pupena pujemi. I honor the Buddha with the flower buddham pupena pujemi. In this sentence, samananam pujesum, it's implicit that it was they gave this food as an offering to the monks. That it's not explicitly then, having made the food samananam pujesum, they offered it to the monks. So vernitayo sadhaya, shraddha is in Sanskrit is faith. This for you, Sanskrit shraddha. In Pali it becomes saddha. It's like, faith, trust, confidence. Incidentally, this shraddha, in later Latin, we have credere, to believe, but originally it was from cred, dare. So this root cred, to give cred to something, is the same as shraddha, faith put. Shraddha, credere. So sadhaya, with faith, bhattam pachitva, having cooked the food, having cooked rice. Viharam netva, the root ni, to lead, netva, having led, having taken it, not led it, we just took it, but viharam netva, samananam pujesum, offered it to the monks. You could also say actually samane pujesum. The dative / genitive is used here, but samane pujesum, they offered reverence to the monks. You could say bhatena, with food, samane pujesum, they reverenced the monks with food, meaning they gave an offering of food to the monks. Read again. Vanitayo sadhaya bhattam pachitva viharan netva samananam pujesum. Number 11. It's imperative here. Tumhe ma suram pivata. Don't drink alcohol, liquor. Ma gilana bhavitum ussahata. Suggesting here that you are deliberately trying to make yourself ill if you drink alcohol. So ussahata, ussahati, to try, ussahata, ma ussahata, don't try, don't attempt. gilana bhavitum, to be sick, to fall sick. Tumhe ma suram pivata, do not drink liquor. Ma gilana bhavitum usahata, do not seek, do not try to fall sick. This suram, we see this word in the 5 precepts, as in Sura, Merya, Majja, Pamadatthana, Veramani, Sikapadam, Samadhiyami. It's this Sura. I think it remains uncertain exactly what kind of liquor it was, but it was evidently a liquor, an alcoholic, or other psychotropic drink. Number 12. So, dhammena dhanam samharamana panyaya putte posenta nara manusaloke sukham vindanti. This verb vindanti, it's actually from the root vid, veda, vedana, vidya, and so on. And this root vid, the distinction isn't absolute, but it can fall into 2 classes of verb. Class 2, vid veti, has more the meaning of to know, but also with an inserted nasal, vindati, it can mean to find and therefore to experience something, but it's from that same root. So sukham vindanti, you can also merge the meanings back into one. In English, we can say they will find happiness, or they will know happiness, broadly the same meaning. So these nara, these men, sukham vindanti, find happiness. How? Dhammena dhanang sangharamana. Sangharati, remember, paharati, to hit, sangharati, to gather together, to accumulate. And one of the forms of the participle is sangharamano, so sangharamana. So these nara, people, dhammena dhanam samharamana, who accumulate dhanam, wealth, dhammena, righteously, according to the Dhamma. And then something else they do, poseti, is to nourish, and also generally to bring up, those who bring up, putte, their children. Panyaya, wisdom, panyaya, with wisdom, wisely. So people, nara, or men, who manusaluke, nara, who dhammena dhanam samharamana, men gathering wealth righteously, accumulating wealth righteously, or making a living righteously. Panyaya putte posenta, bringing up their children wisely, with wisdom. Manusaluke sukham vindanti, find or know sukham, happiness, manusaluke, in the human world. The idea being you don't have to wait till after you're dead to enjoy the happy results of honest life and bringing up the children well. Number 13. Sache tumhe navaya gangam tareyata deepasmim vasante tapase disva agantum sakisata. So if you cross the Ganges by boat, sache tumhe, if you, navaya, by boat, gangam tareyata, so tarata, you cross, tareyata, you might cross. So if you were to cross the Ganges by boat, then, having seen the ascetics living on the island, deepasmim, on the island, vasante tapase, on the island dwelling ascetics, disva, having seen, agantum sakisata, you will be able to come. I think the idea is you'll be able to come after you've crossed the Ganges by boat and seen the ascetics living on the island. The key, Lady de Silva's key says if you cross the river by boat. I've checked, I cannot at the moment find that the word Ganga, which of course is the name of the river, in English is generally known as the Ganges. I can't find, according to Margaret Combs' dictionary, that it means a river generally. And from what I remember in the reading of Pali text, the Ganga is specifically the Ganges rather than just any river. So I don't know why. It may be just an error that the key puts if you cross the river by boat. It's specifically the Ganges. If anyone can find why I'm wrong about that, if it can be used to mean a river generally, please tell me. Sachetum he, if you Navaya Gangam Tarayata, cross the Ganges by boat. Yipasvim Vasante Tapase Disva, having seen the on the island dwelling ascetics. Agantum Sakisata. Remember, Sakoti, be able. Sakomi, Sakomi, Sakosi, Sakoti. Sakisata, future, you will be able. I'll read it once more. Sachetum he Navaya Gangan Tarayata. Deepasmim vasante tapase disva agantum sakisata. Number 14. Parisam parivaretva pasadam ha nikkamantam bhupalam disva vanitayo modanti. So, I'm slightly dubious about the grammar and syntax of the sentence as it appears here. Parisam parivaretva, surrounded by his retinue. I would have been happier to see parisaya, by his retinue, parivarito, surrounded. Here, if this is correct, it could mean parivaritva, having gathered his retinue around him, parivariti, to surround, gather around. So parisam parivaritva, having gathered his retinue around him, or, as I say, I'd be happier to see parisaya parivarito, surrounded by his retinue. In fact, we'd now have to put that into the accusative because it's the bhupalam disva, having seen the king, parisaya parivaritam, surrounded by his retinue, not revenue. Pasadamha nikkamantam, coming out of the pasadamha, from the palace, bhupalam disva, having seen the king, vanitayo modanti, the women are pleased. I'll read again. Parisam parivaritva pasadamha nikkamantam bhupalam disva vanitayo modanti. Number 15. Kanyayo salayam sannipatitva kumarehi saddhim sallapimsu. So lapati, just to chat, to talk. Sanlapati, to talk with somebody, to converse. Samlapimsu, they conversed, they chatted. So kanyayo, the girls, Salapimsu, chatted, talked. Salayam sannipatitva, having assembled in the sala, in the hall. Kumarehi saddhim Salapimsu, chatted with the boys. Kanyayo salayan sannipatitva kumarehi saddhim Salapimsu. Number 16. Kudaya pilentam gilanam yachakam disva amabattam adadi or adasi. These are both equally valid forms meaning gave. From the root da, adasio, adadi. Again, I'm a little bit concerned by the grammar of this sentence, because I would have expected to see kudaya pilitang. oppress the root. Sorry, not the root. The verb pileti from pila. Pila is pain, more of a physical pain than a dukkha, which is much more broad. Pileti is to pain, to oppress, and pilita is oppressed, whereas pilento is active participle, meaning oppressing, as if you're oppressing somebody else. So kudaya, if you're kudaya pilito, you are oppressed by hunger. So that may be a misprint here. So kudaya, let's say it should be kudaya pilitam yachakam disva, having seen the yachaka, the beggar, kudaya, by hunger, pilitam, oppressed by hunger, gilanam, sick. So having seen this disva, amma bhattam adadi, the mother gave rice. So I'll read it again, but with my amendment to what it says in the textbook. Kudaya pilitam gilanam yachakam disva, amma bhattam adasi. Number 7. Guhayam niliyitva suram pivanta chora siham pasitva bhayam su. So bhayati, he, she, it is afraid. Bhayanti, they are afraid. Bhayam su, aorist, they were afraid, they became afraid. Siham pasitva, they were frightened on seeing a lion, the lion having seen. Bhayam su, they were afraid. So niliyati, hide, is from our root li, sorry, from the root li, cognate with our English lie, and the alaya, where you go to lie down, the abode of something like Himalaya, the abode of snow. Niliyati means to lie down in a place, mean to hide there, to lurk there. So niliyatva, having hidden, guhayam niliyatva, having hidden in a cave, suram pivanta chura. Pivanta is the present participle, the suram pivanta chura, the liquor drinking thieves. Siham pasitva, having seen a lion, became afraid. So guhayam niliyatva, suram pivanta chura, siham pasitva, bhayim su. Number 18. Varahe maritva jivanto naro kilano hutva dukkham vindati. Now, earlier we had sukham vindanti, they experience happiness, or they find happiness. Here's dukkham vindati, he finds dukkha, he finds or experiences dukkha. So the naro, the man, gilano hutva, having fallen, literally having been, having become, we say then, having fallen ill, gilano hutva dukkham vindati. So varahe maritva jivanto naro. So jivanto, living, and if you make your living by doing something, what you're doing can also be expressed as the absolutive. So here, varahe maritva doesn't mean having killed the pigs. It means jivanto varahe maritva, a person who lives by, makes his living, who survives by killing pigs. So that's this is one of the forces that the absolutive has, so not having done, but by doing something. So varahe maritva, jivanto naro, the man, jivanto, living, varahe maritva, living by or living on killing pigs, gilano hutva, having fallen ill, dukkham vindati, finds or experiences suffering. This varaha, by the way, varaha, there are other words for a pig. One is a sukara. This varaha is actually cognate with our English word boar, as in a wild boar. Varahe maritva. Number 19. Varnijassa apane manjusayam moolam atti. Moolam, you know this word as a root, as in rukamule, literally at the root of a tree, where we would in English normally say at the foot of a tree or just under a tree. Moolam also means money. So moolam atti, there is money. Where? Manjusayam, the manjusa is a box, manjusayam in the box. Varnijassa apane, manjusayam in the box of the merchant. Varnijassa apane in the shop. Some of you may know the in modern India you have a surname, Banerjee, and that Banerjee actually comes from this word Varnija. So it just means merchant. Varnijassa apane manjusayam moolam atti. Number 20. Samana manuse papa nivaretva sapuruse katum vayamanti. So the monks, samana vayamanti, strive, make an effort. Remember, in the Eightfold Path, samma vayama, often translated as right effort. So vayamanti, they make an effort. Katum, to do or to make. Sapuruse katum, to make good people or to make the aforementioned persons into good people. Just as in English we say, make them good people. Sapuruse katum vayamanti. So manuse, accusative plural here, papa, ablative, from evil, nivaretva, having turned them away. We have, for example, in Buddhist teaching, the hindrances, that is the nivarana, but the lengthening of the ni to ni is rather irregular, but there it is, it occurs in that word. So to hinder people, to turn them away. So the nivaranani, the hindrances, that which hinder you or turn you away from getting on with your practice. So papa nivaretva, this is the causative, nivareti, to turn somebody away, to block them from doing something. Papa nivaretva, having turned them away or having blocked them, papa, from evil. So having blocked them from evil, having turned them away from evil, the monks try to make the manuse, the people, into sapuruse, virtuous individuals, good men, virtuous people. Samana manuse papa nivaretva sapuruse katum vayamanti. There is an error that I've just spotted in the text. In the if you look sentence 20 as it's in the printed book, you may have it differently on a different edition, but in the printed book I have, it's sapurese. It shouldn't be that, it's sapuruse. Let me just give that to you. It incorrectly written. This is wrong. It should be, sorry, should be sapuruse. So purusa, a person, sapurusa. I'll read it again, correcting this error. Samana manuse papa nivaritva sapuruse gatum vayamanti. And that concludes the Pali to English for lesson 18.